Okay, how y'all doing tonight? I'm tired. I've been working all day and I really want to go to bed. But every now and then, well, not every now and then, but actually nowadays, too often for words, I actually have divinations with clients who have an interest in practicing magic. And then, they'll be in different groups here on Facebook, and people will tell them, well, what you really need is a divination. And sometimes that's the case. But what I'm finding more often than not with divinations is that a lot of people come for divinations for confirmation, whether they want it or not. See, the thing is that a lot of times when I'm doing a divination for somebody, they already know their answers. I've literally asked clients, would you like me to charge you $95 an hour for me to tell you what you already know? Okay? And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what I came for. And if that's what you've come for, that's a good thing. If that's what you came for, confirmation, that's great. But here's how to waste your money, okay? To come to a divination and not really have a question. And in those cases, I can still do a divination for you. Big and Smalls is hollering in the background. I can still do a divination for you. And then usually you get your edges snatched back, forward, through by spirit. But usually also when I do said divination, I've already done the divination before I've dealt a single card. And so a lot of people don't understand that a true divination, and not a card reading, but a divination is that person's ability to tap into spirit, both the spirits that guide me and the spirits that guide you. That's why you don't really want to go and get divinations from every Tom, Dick, and Harry. You don't want to have everybody running your natal chart, because that's a sacred moment. That's a moment where your reader, your diviner, is sitting in a divine space. When I sit down to do a reading, I light a candle, I have a glass of water. We petition the spirits to come down and to give information that is beyond me. Most of the time, I am able to tell you how old you are within 6 months to a year of your real age, and that did not come from me, because black folks be deceptive as hell. They be 50 looking 25. Okay? And so when I tell you these things, it's because Spirit gave me that information. But one of the things that I've noticed is that I am solidly booked from now until June, and I'm hoping to take a sabbatical after June 1st, but I don't even know if that is humanly possible, because sometimes the diviner needs the divine. Sometimes I just need to not be up in everybody's head. But there is a trend that's going on in our world, and I get it. The trend that we are experiencing at Big Liz Conjure and Azili Conjure Garden is an explosion of people who want to learn. People who are taking classes and people who are coming for divinations. Whereas before, even though we are back open for mail order, most people concentrate on products, especially in the storefront. People come in, I want this and this and this and this, and what do you recommend for this? And I'm like, well, have you divined on it? Because in my practice, and hey, if you don't believe in having to do divination before you do your magic, that's you, boo-boo. But where I come from, my magical practice, my voodoo, my hoodoo, my witchcraft tells me, ask spirit first. And so a lot of times people don't ask spirit, and then they go and they practice magic and they wonder what the fuck went wrong. Either it didn't work, or it had disastrous results, or it happened, but it didn't happen the way they wanted it to. And a divination will help you before you branch out and do that. I get really upset when I have people, and especially, white psychics, will do a reading for my client and then say, oh, girl, you in danger, like from Ghost. but they don't have a spiritual remedy for that person because they're not spiritualists. They don't practice any form of magic. All they do is divine. And I find that to be a real problem, because it's like going to the doctor and be like, oh yeah, you got a bladder infection. Yup. And then you sit there and you wait for the doctor to write you a prescription and you get nothing. Well, I'm going to have to send you to the specialist for your bladder infection. What kind of fucking sense does that make? Often when people come to me and they ask me, should I be practicing magic? You hear this little girl? Anyways. Hidea! Hidea! Stop it. God, so I want to go back to my store. Listen, it's no good to go and see someone for help and they really can't help you. Okay? So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. If you were really looking for like a root work spiritual response to a problem, then you're going to have to see a root worker hoodoo spiritualist, right? Okay? And so if that person who is divining for you, you know, I have a few friends here, we're merchants here in the conjure community, but I've had to call a couple of them and tell them, I'm going to need you to stop sending people who really are very, very mentally ill to me for spiritual guidance, thinking that that is going to be their only way out of the situation. You know, I believe in therapy and mental illness medications when needed. And I also do believe that there's a spiritual part to mental illness. And I believe that some people even initiate to help cover them and shield them from, or heal them from, the issues that they are dealing with mentally. Yes, a spiritual consultation can be a form of therapy, and it requires a tremendous amount of responsibility for anybody who is doing that for someone. And I don't think that in this world of Instagram occultists that a lot of people are taking it seriously. There are some people who are very serious, very qualified. Quite a few of them are on this live. And then there are ones who don't know they ass from a hole in the ground, don't have they don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So how can you go to somebody whose life is a complete and total fucking wreck for your healing? You know, a doctor who's terminally ill for cancer in the end stages of their life can't take patients. They're sick. They can't even heal themselves. So would you try to make an appointment with somebody who is terminally ill in order to heal you? A person with stage 4 cancer usually cannot help you with something as simple as an ingrown toenail. They sick. It makes no sense. And then on the other end of the scale is people who are coming for divinations and they don't have any questions. They have no idea where they're going, no idea where they've been, or if they know where they've been, they lying to themselves about it. So my last, I average about 3-4 readings a week because that's really all I have the mental energy for, or the time. Because like today, May's classes, since we launched them day before yesterday, we have had 62 registrations. And so I have to, because my website, Square Weebly, sucks and they don't offer digital products, I have to send out emails to each person that orders a class. You don't get downloaded the link the minute you buy it. I have to send it to you. I hate that, but it's what it is. But I'm tired, but I felt compelled to come and talk to you about a reading I had this evening. It was very interesting because the person that I was reading for is in a very good Facebook group for learning spiritual things. And that's where they found out about me. And I lived in the area, and so they wanted to have a divination with me. But the thing is that person was very new. They really didn't have a solid understanding of how do I set up an ancestor altar. Some people say we should have pictures. Some people say we shouldn't. Blah, 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 blah. And then no real understanding of what they were interested in as a magical practice. So I'm going to say this to you, especially if you are a beginning occultist. Not everything you learn in church or in traditional education is a bad thing. With every single one of those things, whether you went to college or got a degree or studied a trade or went to Sunday school and Bible study, you had to study the basis of your faith. People think that witchcraft, and I've seen a lot of witches, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's a lot of fucking ignoramuses. You can't learn to be a witch from a book. Guess what? Everybody's magical. Everybody has a spiritual talent. In the church, they tell you everybody has a spiritual gift. Some people have spiritual gifts of administration. Some people have spiritual gifts of being clairaudient or clairvoyant. Some people have real connections with the earth, and they grow herbs and roots and magical and medicine remedies. Everybody has a connection to the Creator. And there's not a single religion out here. I don't care which one. I think there's one. I've been told. I don't know that much about Buddhism. But every other religion I've ever studied has a divine creator. Okay? In voodoo, ours correspond with science and tangible things really well. In voodoo, I've found my affinity for the elements, the earth, and my God. And my God is not a man. My God is not a woman. As Prince told you, I'm not a woman. I am not a man. I am something that you will never understand. And so I think a lot of people get disenchanted with that. But how could you understand something that has the ability to create all things? Hell, men can't even fathom what we go through when we create one thing inside of us. So trying to wrap your mind around the big boom, the energy that knocked apart continents, formed structured bodies of water and countries and continents. How do you understand that? You can't understand that. That's where faith comes in. But what I can understand is that the sun rises every day and it sets, and that the moon goes up and down and has different phases, and that those phases have been used since the beginning of time to grow the very food that we use for subsistence. And if you don't believe me, check the Farmer's Almanac, complete with your astrological projections. If you were a Christian, even the three magi, not wise men, three magicians, one of them African. Well, they pretty much were all African. I mean, darker African. Well, the way they're visually depicted, if you could depend on that. Visited Christ with oil and frankincense and myrrh. But if you burn frankincense and myrrh in your house, and if you anoint shit with oil, then they're going to call you a devil worshiper. But if it was good enough for Jesus, why couldn't it be good enough for you? So no matter what you believe, there is a story. And no matter what you believe, there are rules. Even an atheist has a rule of not believing. So it was very interesting because when I was in this reading with this young lady, I'm like, well, what do you want to know? She didn't know. I'm like, I tell my kids all the time, I don't pay for your smartphone for you to ask me dumbass questions. You have to read. You have to talk to people who are in these practices, and you have to study it for yourself. But most importantly, you have to have that relationship with your Almighty Creator, the God in you, and the ancestors. Some people call them angels, some people call them guides. I call them ancestors who brought you here. It's like that friend that you only hear from when they want $20. Your ancestors going to stop picking up the phone. They might even change their number if you don't talk to them. If you don't establish relationships with the spirits that protect you, guide you, that have been with you your entire life and you didn't even know it, that have probably saved your life or given you a message, told you to do something, Protected you from that fuck shit person you wanted to be in a relationship with so bad, made them show their ass early on. And some of us, even though we got the message, we was just like, I'm going to do it anyway. I tell everybody that most of our trials and our tribulations in our life, you can back that shit up right to the point where you fucked up. Where you made a decision, and 99.99999% of the time, it is because you ignored your own spirit. You ignored that little voice in your head that said, bitch, don't do that. You'd be like, oh, it's going to be all right. I did it just a couple of weeks ago. Okay? I'm not even going to get into details, but I did it a few weeks ago. I talked to my mambo about it today. She was like, when I heard you did that shit, my hair stood on end because I knew. And I was like, she's like, why you didn't say nothing to me about it? I said, because I'm a kid. We were just joking the other day about how my grandkids will lie, even though they're not in trouble. But you doing nothing. Because they don't want nobody knowing what they doing. I thought, oh, I'm just going to give this person a chance with this decision that I made. But my mama knows this person, and my mama was like, this is not going to go well for you. And she told me, but I didn't give her the opportunity to counsel me because I'm grown and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And yes, Spirit told me this ain't going to work out. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's just my pessimistic brain. So as a reminder to me, divine on it. And you could have avoided all of this, even though I thought I was being careful. Because we always think we know better. There's several things into this walk with magic that you really are going to have to get, you all. And that first one is listening to the God in you and that inner voice. And sometimes people have issues with self-esteem and, mental health, that they got to work through some of those issues first before magic can be highly effective for them. So know that. That's the first thing. You got to believe in you. And you got to believe in something. You know how the saying goes that if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything? So the next step is, you got to study. There's books. There's a whole bunch of shit on the internet. The only way that you can dial up your bullshit meter and strengthen your psychic muscle and your bullshit muscle where somebody can't pass by some bullshit to you, because I read books all the time, and I read this, and especially if it has anything to do with voodoo, I'll go to my mambo and I'll be like, oh, what's this? Is this right? And she's like, that's some old bullshit. And I'll say, well, I just needed to talk to my priestess to make sure that this wasn't some off shit. Sometimes there's things that I think is some off shit that is really part of voodoo, because voodoo is very different by country and by region. Okay? West African voodoo, Panamanian voodoo, Haitian voodoo, New Orleans voodoo, similar but vastly different. And so, the first part of being a psychic, though, somebody said they don't listen to themselves, is if you don't listen to yourself, who the hell else you gonna listen to? That don't make no sense. You got to listen to yourself. Even if you're not a psychic, in order to achieve your goals and to manifest what you want in your life, if you're not even a magician, just by simple mundane tasks, you gotta listen to yourself, or you're gonna fuck yourself up. And you can't lie to yourself. People will tell the lie that you cannot divine for yourself. A lot of people are getting caught up in these streets because they don't know a divinatory tool. And then they go to a practitioner that's on some fuck shit that lies to them and tells them, well, you need this, this, and this. Send me $1,000. And you can't even tell by the cards that they dealt for you that they are lying. That's a goddamn shame. Like I said, we got classes for that. Y'all stuck in the house right now. If you haven't spent or, put away all of your stimulus check, take a goddamn class. Go on these free websites that talk to you about the meanings of different cards. Tarot is a complex system, and a lot of people start there, but there are tons of oracle, there's playing cards, there's all types of divinations. There's dice, there's runes. There's even fucking dominoes. You can read dominoes. You ain't even got to leave your house to buy a divination tool. But you won't learn. and then you get caught up. And interestingly enough, this was her recent past card. It's the Magician in reverse. When cards turn in reverse, for me as a diviner, there's often a sign from spirit that you are causing the problem. So let's take a look at this. This is the Morgan Greer Tarot. It's similar. It's inspired by the Rider-Waite. There's a lot of different tarot, a lot of different interpretations. But if this is upright, he's got the infinity sign above his head. Everything is possible. I see people wearing this sign that call themselves Christians, and they don't realize they're wearing witchcraft symbols. I saw a relative of mine wearing an infinity symbol the other day, and I had to laugh, and I asked my cousins who practice, I said, should we tell her? And they were like, no. He's got the wand in his hands. Too often we've been fooled by Hollywood, and we don't know the understanding of a wand, but you understand in black culture that it's rude to point at somebody, right? That is an extension of yourself. A good wand you infuse with your own blood to make it an extension of you. Your wand is to focus your intention. It is not Harry Potter. Ain't no fucking sparks gonna fly out the end of it. Learn your tools. And very interestingly enough, at the bottom here, surrounded by the lily of the valley and roses, flowers that symbolize different things in magic, look it up. He's got every single tool of the tarot, even the swords, because the swords are the battles. And you've got the wands, and those are challenges and obstacles and work. And then you've got your pentacles, which is your money and your wealth and your knowledge or have or lack thereof. And your cups, your emotional gifts, the things that fill your cup. Start looking at the euphemisms that we use. Like, if you play your cards right or the deck is stacked against you, that all comes out of divination. Cards were not meant for games to begin with. They were divinatory tools. And so when this card is in reverse, you ain't got none of that. And chances are it's your fault. A magician upright is in full control of their destiny, their spirit, and their mundane accomplishments. That is what this card means at its very essence. You don't want to have this in reverse in your reading. But the interesting part about that was her probable future was the star. Look at that. Butt-ass naked, one with the earth. Got 2 buckets balanced on left and right side. Covered by the spirit of her head, represented by the star and all of the constellations in the universe. She's grounded. She's stripped bare. This is the Morgan Greer deck. She's stripped bare, but she's balanced. And then, in your most natural state, at your most grounded, when you are most connected with not only the spirits, but the spirit that resides in you, baby, you're a star. Y'all might want to start picking apart some of them Prince lyrics. Wonder why I love him so much. Prince was not a Jehovah's Witness, y'all. I'm just let you know that right now. And if you're a witch and you look at enough pictures and you listen to enough music and you read enough of his writing, you know he wasn't no goddamn Jehovah's Witness. Or he was a Jehovah's Witness witch, which that's an oxymoron in and of itself. But the only way you would know that is if you'd studied what these different little symbols mean. Prince's symbol was very close to this, the Ankh, but it was the combination of male and female. It was that balance of that masculine and feminine, which he did so fucking amazingly well. And why I miss that man, physical presence in my life, but his spirit walks with me forever. And I ain't a celebrity follower. Okay? I don't like celebrity. But that's what will happen to some of y'all if you don't study. You'll get fucked up by these celebrities, these influencers. And you're going to be easily influenced. You're going to end up initiating into some shit you didn't never want to be a part of, that doesn't go with the way you view life, because you never learned how to listen to yourself. And it's okay to doubt yourself. It's okay to be new. Guess what? Being a witch, being a mambo, being a magician, being an occultist, I'm brand new to some shit every day. I'm brand new to the messages that Spirit has for me each day. And I'm going to get a new practice. When my practices, and even when I was a Christian, I got up every day. Thank you, God. Thank you for waking me. Thank you for giving me another chance. I'm probably going to fuck this up today too, but thank you for letting me wake up. I'm going to add to that and be nice if I could pull a card for myself every day. I really literally hit the ground running, but I'm going to get up and ask, what do you have for me today? What do you have for me to learn? Understand that all learning is not easy. In fact, the best learning and the right lessons are the most painful. That's why we have them. You're a fool if you keep making the same mistakes over and over again. That's fucking insanity and hoping for different results. The first time you do something, it's a mistake. When you continue to do something, it is an intention. So you should be having focused intentions. You should have communion with Spirit, starting with your own. Do you realize when you're talking to yourself, you are actually talking to your ancestors? People make fun of me all my life for talking to myself. I talk to God all day long, and I didn't realize what I was doing. And then with my mouth, sometimes I didn't realize what I was manifesting, whether it was good or bad. And even to this day, I have to catch myself and not manifest some bullshit. I have to remember who the fuck I am. There are friends of mine who I will see online talking shit, acting a fool, crying, boo-hooing, letting everybody see every single fucking pain and vulnerability that they've ever had and wondering why they ain't got shit. Well, first of all, you letting everybody know your business. And if somebody out there doesn't like you, they're going to make sure that you stay miserable. Whether it's mundanely or magically. There's some shit that should be just between you and your spirit. Between you and your ancestors. How is somebody going to tell you specific ways of setting up your ancestor altar if you are not in an organized religion that has those rules? When you are practicing without a priest or a priestess, there's some basic rules. Some water, a white candle, a white cloth, white flowers, they say. But when I tried to put white flowers on my ancestor altar, they gardeners. My grandmother was like, bitch, you funny. You better go get me some color. Your ancestors are yours. They are unique to you. Your relationship with your mama, your grandmama, is not the same as your brother or your sister's relationship with your mama or your grandmother. And when they tell you they want something, they're telling you and you do it. Now, you're in a religion that says, well, because we look at levels and we've got highly elevated spirits. Spirit comes first in all things, and there's a rank. At least there is in voodoo. I don't know about the other traditions. I don't have time to study all of them because I'm so busy studying mine. But I'll tell you what, before I got initiated, I made sure I went and looked at the basic tenets of each religion. And I found things in those other, even ATRs, that I found did not fit my being. We have colonialized thought in a lot of ATRs with bans of the priesthood against homosexuals and problems with people who are trans. Voodoo at its roots does not. If you run into someone who has those issues, that's not voodoo. Voodoo takes everybody. You do understand that voodoo simply means spirit. The reason why in Haitian voodoo we just don't advertise to recruit white people is because that particular form of voodoo is the spirit of revolution. And let's talk about our relationships that we've had with our white friends who have proven no matter how nice they are, several people on this live, and I've got low battery because I'm going to have to go in a minute or I'm going to have to find a way to plug this in. So let's not drop the phone. I'm going to plug it in so I don't get lost because I'm preaching tonight, okay? We sat in a group on Zoom, just shit kicking it, smoking, drinking. And I invited one of my old friends who I've known from when I was a photographer, who was also into the paranormal. This person centered themselves. They Becky'd the whole fucking conversation. And I was so very disappointed, you know. There was 2 white folks on that call, Mark and this other person. And even sitting in the meeting, I had to say to her, you know, you're Beckying. You know, and it always gets down to, why can't I know what you know? And that's the thing. When people ask that, you don't want them. Because you really shouldn't come into voodoo for knowledge and power. You come in for your spirit. And just like Solomon asked Yahweh for wisdom, he understood that everything else would follow. He already had spirit. He was speaking to Yahweh directly. He didn't need spirit. So the next thing he asked was for knowledge. So you don't come into this shit for the secrets. And that's what happens with a lot of white people because of the way they're socialized, colonized, they're colonizers, and it's all about power, conquest, and acquisition. That does not fit into voodoo. In fact, it is the antithesis of Haitian voodoo. But every now and then you do meet somebody who comes along and they may have some black blood in them. Usually that's the case. It's the ancestors come calling. That are willing to humble themselves and realize while they're there in the first place. But as we see in real life, those people are few and far between. And now that disease has spread to the black community, if it probably has always been there. Yes, I said antithesis. Did I pronounce it correctly? Because I got aphasia. I be fucking up all kind of words. It's the anti. Okay? That's not what voodoo is supposed to bring you. I didn't go get initiated for power. I went for spiritual connection. I went for protection. Because out here in these internet streets, because I say things like this to y'all, there's some people that are making a lot of fucking money scamming you and they hate me. I need protection. I need to be covered by the blood of sacrifice. Just like I needed to be covered by the blood when I was in the church. There's not a lot of difference in these concepts. Just the names and the way a religion culturally venerates something. But don't find yourself lost. When I first stepped out of Christianity and I had voodoo, I still felt a little lost because I didn't have a church and all I had was God. I wasn't even really thinking about these saints, these energies. I just was like, oh, I'm lost. And you will be too. But guess what? You ain't got to be lost. When there's all these fucking roadmaps available to you, even Wikipedia will lead you to more scholarly articles. You read, you find something you're passionate about. I don't care if it's crystals, ancestors, and ATR. And you read about it every single fucking minute that you get. That is devotion. That is passion. The same passion that'll have those Nigerian priests laid out on the floor. I don't care if they are Catholic or Christian, face down, prostrate all day in meditation. When you want your spirit to be fed, hell, there's niggas going to church 7 days a week trying to get their spirits fed. What are you doing to feed your spirits? And in our religions, what are you doing quite specifically to literally feed those spirits? When's the last time you gave your ancestors your part of your meal? Where you said, I don't have to be a complete and fucking total pig, and everybody from this household can give a little bit of what they're eating and put that on that plate. No, they not gonna eat it. Sometimes they do, but we won't even go there. It's about respect. It's about I'm going to call you just because I love you, because I know you're good for me, because you're great company, because you have things to show me, teach me. I'm not going to just call you because I need $20. Don't be that type of spiritual person. It's okay to be new. I'm brand new every fucking day. I get some shit that I be brand new on every fucking day of my life. This coronavirus came and my kids looked at me like supreme being of mommy. And I looked at them and I said, I got nothing. I ain't never seen no shit like this in my whole life. We in danger. We gonna stay in the goddamn house. I don't know. I'm not no scientist. But I know that we could die. That's what I do know. And there's people dying every fucking where, and I don't know when it's going to stop. And I have no enlightened words of wisdom of why the spirits aren't gonna help us. But as time goes on, I'm getting a little bit more every day. I was talking to my best friend today. She's like, girl, the earth is resetting itself. Because see, if they was dependent on us to keep the fucking entire Arctic from melting down, we would have done it already. They literally had to make the motherfucking earth. Somebody had the nerve to say on one of my interns' wall that ain't nobody ever seen these gods come down, that people would be better off from religion because they've never met these gods face to face. Well, I don't know about you, bitch, but I see my gods when I get in the ocean. I see my gods when I feel the wind and the sun on my fucking face. When I put my feet or my ass on the ground, I feel my gods. And that's what I love about voodoo and African traditional spiritualism. I feel my gods. I'm not praying to some big ass sky daddy who could give a fuck about me and my problems. The earth, every single thing on this earth has a god or a spirit attached to it, including you. And all you have to do is take the opportunity to find out the ways in which that one or those ones are speaking to you. And no, you're not going to get that by sitting up under my feet or anybody else's. Like when I teach playing card divination, I'm like, you all do understand, I'm teaching you meanings. And these cards have a lot of meanings. From the suit, from numerology, from even comparisons to the tarot. But what I cannot teach you is how you will connect with spirit to get the very answers that you need. Because that shit just happened. And I just had to learn how to refine it. Just like when you're a voodoo site, you learn how to use a veve, a sacred geometry to open a spiritual portal and bring down a spirit. That is learned, y'all. These veves are written down, y'all. I've watched very experienced mambos and guns have a piece of paper in their hand while they're drawing the veve, because usually it's not just the shape that we become accustomed to seeing. There's some other shit in there. And no, you can't know what I know unless you pay the cost. And you ain't gonna pay the cost to be the boss, because when you pay the cost, you learn how small you are. You're stardust, you're a speck of sand in a big, big, big cosmos. But just like a cog in a wheel, the things that you do will affect everything around you. And now we see, from the simple fact of not even driving our cars, the price of oil is fucking bottomed out. But the air quality is tremendous. And there are things coming back alive. You know, it would do us a real favor to fucking pay attention to this, because it's not the earth has reset itself several times. Okay? And there ain't no guarantee. Well, I believe I'm going somewhere. I'm going to a different dimension, a different universe, whatever. But I look at it this way. My beliefs about my spirituality, 50-50. Either I'm going to die and there's going to be nothing, and I'm not going to know any better. Or I'm going to die and I'm going to go to that next life, and it depends on how my karma, okay, how that next life is going to be. So I'm like, shit, and all of my human fallacies and all my fucked upness, y'all know I'm a petty bitch. Sometimes I get joy from my petty. But I gotta grow. I every day. There are times, especially in my job, where I just have to be like, okay, or per my last email, instead of being, you funky bitch. Because I like my paycheck. You grow. You learn that sometimes not everything needs to be said. Lord, I was a sharer. You know, I would talk to my coworkers about my life, and I wouldn't even think that it was like personal business. You know, just that funny shit my kids did and stuff like that. And literally on one of my job evaluations, somebody wrote that I talked about my personal life too much. And I'm like, you motherfuckers do this all the time. Every time we start a meeting, we talk about what little Johnny's doing in Boy Scouts and what Sally's doing with her Irish dancing squad. But, and I am mimicking my oppressor. And I get written up for it. Not my current job. Because after I saw that shit, I was like, I'm going someplace else. But I did learn fairly, no matter how funny the story is or no matter how much you're hurting, not everybody should be privy to that information, which is why you shouldn't be sharing all your fucking information about what you're going through in these witchcraft groups or your spiritual work for that matter. But it's at least they working. Being a witch is a scholarly pursuit, y'all. To be a witch, you gotta know your shit, right? You know, I tell people, I hated the turn that they took with American Horror Story Coven, but in the previews, when it did Priestess Miriam, who's a Facebook friend of mine, and they showed her just in her spell room, just snatching all that stuff off the shelf. She wasn't looking at no labels. She wasn't opening up Cunningham's to see what it was for. She was doom. But first she threw bones. First she divined. She showed you all the fucking steps. People slept on it. She threw the bones. And then the next scene, she's in her room. The smoke is going. The incense is popping. I want some incense. I love these rose dupe sticks. And I got to find out who else is going to sell them because my wholesaler don't sell them no more. But she knew her shit. She did not come out of the womb like that. She studied, y'all. My grandfather used to say, you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. That's because he was born on Compromise Plantation in a time, 1897, where they still wasn't teaching us to read. But he read. He read constantly. You know my grandfather's favorite things to read? And it wasn't a Bible. That wasn't to the end of his life. Yes, Rose Dupe. We got some left in the store. Get it now, because ain't going to be no more. But you know, I like this rather than a goddamn Palo Santo or a smudge stick. I don't know why the fuck y'all doing that in your houses, but you buy them. And we sell them. They ain't part of my practice. I burn herbs, but I like a little resin in my shit. I believe in incense. Folks ain't never seen their mama burn a goddamn smudge stick. But they saw your mama burn incense, and if she was really citified, she was spraying that Lucky Money spray. Y'all need to start paying attention to the memories of your youth. You really do. That's what led me here. Because I had spirits in my house that I recognized from my youth. Okay? But y'all keep just burning nasty ass smelling herbs if you wanna. Whatever. You know, learn the reasons why you do the things you do. There ain't shit wrong. Look at this back here. And I got three bookshelves. But from top to bottom, with the exception of the bottom, which is music, those are all witchcraft and religion. And over in the middle one that you can't see because it's open is all black literature. Guess what? All hoodoo, voodoo, and the like as well. Sometimes I have a hard time figuring out where I'm going to put stuff. Do I tell my horse with the black lid, or do I put it with my witchcraft stuff? Down here, I got all the white folks, the Chaucer, the Milton. That Paradise Lost is some shit for you. Chaucer, Stephen King, who's my bae. You know, Henry James, Judy Blume. I got Wharton, Austin, Hawthorne. Okay? And I've kept these books, you know? But if you don't think you have any spiritual memories of your youth, maybe you should learn or go to a hypnotist. You might be able to pull them from another life. My daddy used to be like, oh, don't let people hypnotize you because they're digging into your subconscious. And I'm like, isn't that the point? But then again, the one reason why I never have gone and been hypnotized is because I don't want that motherfucker to program me to send them money all the time. I just be like, I'm compulsively. Yeah, Forever is my favorite Judy Blume book, but I don't even know if, I know Rakia read Judy Blume. I don't know if my oldest did. I think I'm going to give her like 17 because that's a really fucking cool book. But, you know, I've shaped my life. Yeah, I got up this morning and I put on some makeup and my Kafka. I ordered just a couple more. Rakia, of course, she always be in my damn clothes. She's like, oh, mama, that's nice. How can I get me one? And then one size fits all. I'm like, so if it's too big for you, I'll keep it. So yeah, these are nice. These are on Amazon, the dreaded Amazon beast, for like $25. But yeah, I can be in my crib and sleep in them and all that good shit. I love them. Yes, your reincarnation. You have a spiritual past. You have ancestral memory. You have karma. You have ancestral karma. Even the Bible tells you that the sins of the fathers will be passed on to their children. We have an obligation to honor the things that our ancestors did right, heal the pains that they were never ever to heal, and to reconcile the wrongs that they did. So for all you white folks out here practicing magic, your concentration should not be on my ancestors. It should be on yours. Fix them motherfuckers if you can, or walk away from them. Because ain't nothing wrong with just some good old plain earth magic if your ancestors are trash and they ain't shit. That's why I love Patty. That's why I let her teach my ancestors class. They're like, why you let a white person teach ancestors? Well, I ain't gonna teach white folks about my ancestors. She knows how to teach about all the different ancestors and genealogy and veneration that is universal. So, author of many, many books, her new book, Herb Magic, came out earlier this month, and she's going to be teaching herbal magic on our website. Sign up. She knows what the fuck she's talking about. Understand that just because somebody black don't always mean that they won't cheat you and that they know what they're talking about. And not everybody white will cheat you and not know what they're talking about. There are good, solid, honest people everywhere. But honestly, there are people who never step up to their destiny in social justice, in spirituality, in the workplace, in economics, because they're so busy out here trying to fly under the radar and just make it from day to day that they don't want to rock the boat. We sometimes call those people coons, but they're just wearing a mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies, that hides our teeth and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts, we smile. We wear the mask. How many times has somebody looked at you and smiled and you knew that they'd kill you if they had the fucking opportunity? And now, even more scary is folks is out here wearing the motherfucking masks. I don't know if the disease of the mask wearing disconcerts me more. Where a Klansman can walk into a grocery store with a hood on and be in compliance with the goddamned law. Think about this, you all. Now the earth is trying to reset, but all you crazy motherfuckers want to do is run right back out there. Some folks, I miss shit. I miss, just normal conveniences of life. But Octavia tried to warn us. Okay? We wear the mask? Yes. Yes, I posted, you gotta go back on my Facebook page. Type in YouTube. Somebody get that link and put it in the comments. Maya Angelou, we wear the mask. She did. She was doing something at an awards ceremony about how we laugh. How this woman was sitting on the bus and no matter what happened, this woman started cackling. Laughing to fucking keep from crying. Laughing to keep from murdering. Okay? Laughing. So everything is not always what it seems, y'all. We're in a reset. A lot of black people are coming into African spirituality because they think that shit is cool. And then, of course, because they got that shit from the white counterparts. Because when they first started practicing magic, wouldn't no nigga tell them nothing. So they went into Wicca, and then they treated you like you had all the juice because you was black. Because black girl magic. Okay? They treated you, thank you, Mark. That's my trusty assistant. That's my non-sexual life partner. You know? They treated you like you were special because you were, but you didn't even fucking know it. Because your ancestral memory sucks ass. Because you've been programmed with the patriarchy, colonization, and capitalism. And you have been taught that that is the way to succeed and be fulfilled, even within the Christian church. How many times they gonna pass around the offering plate, y'all? Before you've been bled for all you can bleed. Before you've been taken for all that they can take, because you ain't learning shit. Because the only reason why I'm a good witch is because I studied the goddamn Bible. And I realized where they got this shit from and where they were lying. Okay? And where they were telling the truth. And where I could go and say, okay, Enoch. Let's go look up Enoch. And then find out there's a whole motherfucking book of Enoch. A very scary book. I want to know about these giants, the Nephilim. Wait a minute, where's this woman called Lilith? Why did the Jews talk about her, but the Christians whose God was a Jew, they ain't told us about Lilith? What happened to Ashura? What is this grove in the Bible? How did Jezebel really get knocked off? Do you know that the adversary is not Lucifer? It is not Satan. It is Baal. Baal, read the ancient Sumerian text, was the serpent who showed up and told Yahweh's slaves, hey, he's a young god. And he just, you know, you can just go over and eat this shit right here, this magical shit right here that actually he placed and he did it to trick you. You can eat this and know every fucking thing you want to know, you know. But they said we gonna eat it, we gonna die. Yeah, you gonna die, but you gonna die happy or smart or informed. Okay? And how many times have we been in church and they say that Eve, you know, because she was naked and her feminine wiles went up to Adam and gave him the apple, not even an apple, it's a fucking piece of fruit, and said that she made him eat. No, the Bible that I got right back there, and I got the King James, the New International, and the fucking Catholic Bible that has 6 more books in it. It says Adam, who was with her, did eat. He's a punk. The bitch stood there and did nothing. And that was why it was Eve's punishment to serve somebody who wasn't fit to be served. To be submissive to somebody who could not rule. But you don't read. So you gonna tell me you can't find out about being a witch in a book? Oh, I beg to fucking differ. What you cannot do is make a connection with spirit simply by reading a book. You know? Like when you go to get married, you know, you should be 2 people, 2 separate people becoming one, not 2 half of motherfuckers trying to be whole. In a relationship, 2 whole beings come in and make a super being. So you can't half-ass go looking at a book when you don't have any spirit guidance. The spirit is the very thing, especially your own holy divinity, is the thing that makes all of this work. People think, and I do, I have a fucking magical addiction. Y'all know that. I got a fucking store. So I could buy every single magical thing, including smudge sticks, even whether I use them or not, under the sun, and be surrounded by magic. Buying all different types of crystals that I don't even own myself to sell them to other people as I individually use them. I love being around magical things. Okay? But at the same time, I had to learn about these things. And I buy things as I'm led by spirit. Are smudge sticks effective? Yes, because the herbs and the roots, they doctrine and signatures. Blah, 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 blah. Yes. But do they smell good? Do they create the energy I want to achieve? No. I love tarot decks. I was about to buy another one today, y'all. I'm going to stop, though, because I'm going to start reading bones. Michelle Jackson told us she read tarot for 40 years, and she started throwing bones, and she put them damn tarot cards down. And now all she does is read bones. And it's because it is a more spiritually connected way of reading for a lot of people. If you book a divination with me, I'm going to give you the whole divination before I deal a single card. And then the cards are going to commence to snatching your edges. And sometimes they snatch mine. But one of the things, and I'm still trying to figure out a solution for this because I'm tired, is I can't just keep teaching 100 when I'm in grad school. You know, I'm TAing a lot. If you know what a TA is, a teaching assistant, we teach all the grunt classes, and therefore we don't have enough time for our graduate studies. And I'm still trying to figure out that balance so that I can learn more. I cannot tell you how many of my Mambo's classes that I missed as an initiate, or I sat and I worked through and had to read notes later because I was out here trying to get y'all the 100s. So you cannot do anything well without passion, dedication, commitment, and study. And so no, you're not going to be a witch if you read all. I know people like this. Lord, and they're young and they dumb and they even open up stores and all that other stuff, and all they have is a cachet of spiritual knowledge that they got from books. But you know, I had somebody who lived with me for months, and I saw them make 1 oil, 2 oils the whole time. They're just not making any products, not making the stuff that guides the practice. You got to do that. You got to do the work. You got to read. You've got to study. And you do have to, in spiritual practices, you have to have the guidance of an elder. Just like being a child, and you have to have the guidance of your parents. You have to have spiritual parents or aunties and uncles that are going to lead you the way in which spirit is telling you to go. And see, when you know spirit and you can divine and you can discern, hell, I can smell shit. Okay? Literally. Somebody took a shit in the guest bathroom, which is several feet away from my office. And 20 minutes later, I'm like, did the baby shit? And they were like, nope, sorry. I'm like, go in there and fucking spray. I can see, hear, and smell everything because I've trained myself to do so. You gotta be able to do that. There's one thing that nobody's ever going to be able to teach you, and that's how to tap into your own divinity. There's books with tips for meditation and different things like that, and they're good. But if you are your own blockage, then you are going to be your own problem. And if you have no elder, shit, I don't get it. I don't know, because you ain't booked a magical mentoring session with me that I remember, but I see so many people that you might have. We have mentoring sessions. We have classes. We have a customer group. We have a book list. Get you some. But don't sit up and say that the reason why I'm not progressing in my spiritual practice is because you don't have an elder. Your ancestors are your first. Your ancestors are your first elder. Ask them, okay, I'm about to walk up into the spiritual store today. Okay? I'm going to Azuli's Conjure Garden. Or I'm going to BigLizConjure.com. Show me what I need to buy. You know, we got a whole formulations and descriptions list. We have black folks that is stupid enough to try to ask me what the ingredients are in my products. I'm like, ooh, your mama didn't teach you no good manners because we don't even give away a goddamn pie recipe. But you gonna ask me what's in my oil? I told you in the formulations and descriptions what they do and how to use them. After that, see me if you have an allergy concern. Otherwise, it ain't your fucking business unless you learn it yourself. Because me, I can go and take somebody's herb and root mixture and shake it out on the table. And if the pieces are big enough, I'm going to be able to tell you most of what's in it. And really, that'll keep you from getting fucked up because there are also priests and priestesses out here. My mama taught me this. They will fuck you over so you will come back and pay them again to fix you. Ain't that about a bitch? And they do it in all religions, including Christianity. Am I lying or am I telling the truth? Learn for yourself. Have a fucking focus. Get a life. Stop arguing about shit with people whose minds you are never going to change on the internet. Learn what's important for your spiritual life. Nobody is going to be me, and I'm not going to be Priestess Miriam. I'm not going to be my Mambo for lots of different reasons. One of them is because I don't have the years in it that they do. But I'm going to be somebody, and I'm going to be very deeply rooted in my spiritual beliefs. And guess what? Life is about change. I don't really see myself initiating into another practice, but because there's a lot of other things in voodoo I can initiate into. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop growing. $800. You got, baby. $800? And there are people charging that. I talked to a client who's out of $30,000 by another black practitioner. Black on black crime. All skinsmen ain't kinsmen just because somebody. Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't pay. $800. The fuck? Disgusting. And they'll try to scare you into doing it too. And that's why you need to be solid with your own spiritual belief systems before you start rolling up on some of these ass clowns. But do not ever sit down for a divination and not have a question. Don't come into anything with a lack of focus, because they'll shift it for you and you will get got. Unless you happen to come along and meet somebody who's honest and will give you what you need, especially if it's not the same as what you want. Because if you out here listening to Hoodoo Delish and the rest of these goddamn fools, and you putting butter on candles and you don't know shit about the very nature and ancestral practices of your own people, you deserve to be misled. And I will laugh at your tears as well. Because you had a choice. You know? People think I'm mean. My grandkids, like my granddaughter took a dive off the couch last night and gave herself a bloody nose. As long as her nose wasn't broken, I'm like, that's what your black ass gets. Because I done told you to stop jumping around on my goddamn furniture. But you believed you could fly. And now your fucking nose is bleeding. She's not the only one of my kids that believes that she can fly. It's the Congo in us, okay? But they can't fly. Know yourself. Know what you want. Know what you need. Crack candles. Oh, God. Now, I might put some marijuana on a candle. It's a herb, you know, if I needed that. But I consider that a waste of the herb. Spirits, you know, some spirits do ask for weed. Okay. And if they do, I'll put it on my candle. But usually I'm going to smoke it while I'm talking to them. Yeah. And we're going to have a class about that. About using cannabis and other psychotropic, I believe, drugs in spirituality. We're going to have a class about that one day. But in the meantime, it's not all classes. Don't get me wrong, y'all. It's not all books, because the people who know a lot of book knowledge usually disgust me more than the people who have never studied at all, because all they do is flapping their yap and they ain't never lifted their finger to do shit. Okay? So, I think it is weed o'clock for everybody. It's night time. It's time to go to bed at a decent hour so you can get up sometime before noon and get your sleep schedule back right. Because they don't throw us back out here in this shit, and God's help us. Because this shit is not done. But people have no patience. And that's another magical concept that you must have. Because there is going to be some workings that you do that you may not even see the results in your lifetime. And that has everything to do with karmatic debt and our ancestor karma. Think about what you're setting off in this life and how it's going to affect the lives after you and how it's going to affect your next life. So if you didn't do anything at all, you might be sent back to do the shit again. If you did some fuck shit, you might come back as a cockroach, or your kids might always be broke. Or if you were blessed and you lived humbly and beautifully and you shared the Spirit of God with everyone, you just might be able to meet them. Have a good evening, everyone.